It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to the world of espionage once again. I went back to missions that could be seen as impossible. Impossible missions, bro. That's where I went. And I'm going to get into that first couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Peru. Got some plays on Peru this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Toraba, and Peru. I saw there's a movie out called Paddington in Peru. Apparently, Paddington Bear is all Peru doing stuff. I'm going to check this out. Seems very interesting. So, Peru, thanks. Listen, appreciate Gracias, gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called The Spacemen by the one and only Sun Tzu Cosmic and introducing Ek Odalip. Yes, they constructed a sci-fi cosmic rap style that I guarantee you never heard nothing like in your life. So if you want to hear the album called The Spaceman, I'll put them below. Check it out now. Let's get on the podcast. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said in the intro, I took on another mission that seemed to be impossible. It was so impossible, I had to go Ghost Protocol to be exact. And that's what I saw. I saw Tom Cruise, aka Ethan Hunt, in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Now, in this movie, the IMF, the Impossible Mission Force, has been disavowed. They had to enact Ghost Protocol. That means they're disavowed, no help, nothing, all by themselves. And they had to go ahead and defeat this evil man who wanted to bring nuclear destruction on planet Earth. And there was one guy, one team that could save him. It's Ethan Hunt and the IMF guys and ladies as well. And could they do it? Of course they can, because he's Ethan Hunt. Was another fine entry into the wonderful universe of Mission Impossible. I love it. It was absolutely magnificent. And additionally, it was absolute madness. There's a scene towards the end of the movie where Ethan Hunt is battling a bad guy in this car lot. It's the most maddening, crazy thing I've seen in a while. It was just craziness. This movie is phenomenal. And also, if you were wondering what happened to Ethan Hunt's lady, there were some interesting things said. You thought something happened, something else happened, whatever. But it turns out, spoiler, that Ethan Hunt had to separate from his lady because being the wife of Ethan Hunt was just too dangerous. He had too many enemies that want to go ahead of his wife. He had to leave her be. He had to leave that lady alone because his lifestyle was too dangerous. So in order to protect his woman, he had to separate and let her go live her life. Very hard choice. If you love a woman so much and you have to separate to protect her, it's got to be hard because you want to spend time with women and see her, talk her, be with her. But in the world of espionage, in the Ethan Hunt world, in the Mission Impossible world, it is not possible. So he did leave his lady. And seeing him leave his lady was like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad. And for someone that's in a deep relationship, I could understand and feel his pain. So yeah, that was going down to Mission Impossible 5. Now what I want to do is get into a specific aspect of the movie. I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. Now in the movie, Ethan Hunt is disavowed. It's him and a limited number of people that have to carry on and conquer and do the mission. Do the work. Now, me, myself, can somewhat relate to this. Because back in the day, I was surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of backing from different things. And I found myself about 20 years ago, virtually losing almost all of it. It was just me in a limited circle. They had to go and move through space and time and just make it in life, right? I went from having a lot of resources to more minimal resources, and I just had to navigate and make it through. I understand that because of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is what they gotta do. They have no backing. They're disavowed. They're by themselves, limited resources, and they have to make them work and do this. And they do it because they're magnificent. Now, additionally, sometimes you may have limited resources. It may seem impossible, and I've been there. It is tough to navigate with limited resources. It's very tough. But being smart and savvy and disciplined, you can somehow make it work a little bit. And I've been there. It's very difficult. It's very hard. But Ethan Hunt made it happen. maybe you can. Now, back in time when that happened to me, it was limited resources. It was tough. It took me a long time to bounce back. But I'll say this, I wasn't as wise as I am now. If I just worked on my brain a little more, maybe I could navigate a little bit better. I wasn't as smart as Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt's super smart. That's why he's able to solve the problem very quickly. But at times in your life, you may find yourself with limited resources. What will you do? You have to be like Ethan Hunt, be creative and find ways. Now, in 2025, I do try to find more creative ways or to move forward in life. But it can be tough. And even now, my circle is not as large as it used to be. It's a very large circle, large resource back there. It's kind of diminished. And I think over time, as older people, sometimes that happens. But even that being said, you just got to find a way, figure it out, and wonder something. This Ethan Hunt spy movie, Mission Impossible movie, and all the other franchises and the books and podcasts, there's a lot of lessons you can learn from watching and learning these things. A lot of the spy world, the different things they do in it, can be applicable to real life. I've got a lot of lessons on how to think, how to do things in the spy way that has helped me excel in my real life. Yeah, let's be serious. And a lot of these Mission Impossible movies, believe it or not, have helped in that. So anyways, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is absolutely phenomenal. In a couple more weeks, Dead Reckoning 2 is going to be in theater. Cannot wait. I'm going to binge rest for the rest of the month. And I get to see the final chapter or whatever this is. And so I just cannot wait. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen Ghost Protocol, if you've not seen any of the other Mission Impossible, I highly recommend go check this out. They're phenomenal movies. Tom Cruise is phenomenally entertaining. It's in the spy world. Why would you want to watch it? So ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. So thanks for joining me. This concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see. Art lives where absolute freedom is, because when it is not, there can be no creativity. Bruce Lee. Till next time, it's Captain Beast.
The Captain Talks.